Well, hi, Carol.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm very good, thanks.
I like your glasses.
Oh, thank you.
I like red glasses.
I need those to read our notes once in a while.
Yeah, I guess we're in the same club. I need them too. Hi, Robin. How you doing?
Mm. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, very good.
Good, thank
Looks
you.
so cozy.
Mm. It's a little house.
It looks like a cabin.
It's a cabin. It just has a decent view.
So pretty.
Nice.
Thank you. Enjoy it. It's peaceful, which
Very,
is important.
very good.
How
Bev is
was your
here.
week?
My week was so far so good. What is it? Today's Monday, right? No, today.
Where,
Wednesday, the 16th.
I don't know. It's all a blur for me. So far, it's great.
Good.
How's Sheila?
Okay, thank you. How are you? Oh, you just said your week's been good.
Oh, and another red glasses. Interesting.
There was something I was supposed to ask you.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what it was. I'll when
Next
I
time, ask me to
remember,
remind. Next time, ask me to remind you.
yes, when I remember, I'll give you a call. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'll call you.
You're not scaring me. Hi, Lori. Do you know if your parents are planning to? You're on mute, Lori. Do you know if your parents are planning to attend?
They said they are. It's my dad's birthday.
It's your father's birthday.
It's Gregorian birthday.
That
So
counts.
yeah. Yes. So I know he's returning a lot of phone calls with a lot of nice birthday wishes.
Oh, great. I'll try to call him when I'm done. Very good.
Okay.
Wow, look at my sister, the world traveler. Hi, Ella.
Oh, yay.
Hello, good to see you all.
You
Hi.
you
too.
too.
Thank you.
My sister just came back from Spain and Italy
Mm,
Wow.
nice.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
with her kids and grandkids.
Oh,
Mm.
nice. Nicer, yeah.
Hello.
How do you do that? That's
I don't
amazing.
know.
That's my parents.
I hear them. I hear them, but I don't see them.
You talk
Oh.
about the dumbfounded ones?
Well, we're not.
Nehemiah, just because it's your birthday, you're not off the hook. I want to see your face.
Okay, let me
All right.
see.
I don't know why.
Do I start video? Is that how?
Oh, and there's Bev. Hi, Bev.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. Great to see you.
Thank
Here I
you.
am. And here's
Norm,
Norm.
happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much, and a happy unbirthday to you. You get 365 or 64
Is that how old you are?
versus the one birthday.
Is that how
So
old you are?
enjoy it all.
364?
Oh, I thought you meant 364.
That's what I
Yes,
meant to say.
360.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm too busy thinking.
How was the class today?
We're both on. Okay.
How was the class?
It happened to be very good. It's my first time I've ever met Rabbi, oh God, now what's his name again?
Mendy Weinberg.
Weinberg, thank you. He's very good. He's young and enthusiastic. But I missed you very much, but I think the two of you are a dynamic duo.
All right,
Oh,
good.
nice.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
What was nice is he used Pirkei Avos as his lesson plan, and it was nice. I mean, it's not like I've never heard Pirkei Avos, especially during the summer. You read it every Shabbos,
Yeah.
but it was still nice to hear his take on it.
Very good. Very good.
Mm.
Well, anyway, happy birthday. It should be a successful year for you in every respect. And you should grow mechoil ochoil from strength to strength.
Thank you.
You and your bride.
Amen.
And the
Amen.
says on your birthday, secular as well as religious, you get special blessing powers from Hashem. So
Yeah.
I bless every single one of you and pray that you have a magnificent year of excellent health making excellent contributions to Hashem and all of his creation.
Amen. I mean, you sound like a
Amen.
rabbi, Norm.
Thank you.
You sound like a rabbi, Norm.
Yeah.
Amen. Hi, Walter.
Amen.
Thanks for joining, Walter.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Hi, Kim. How you doing? Al and the Wittenbergs are here.
Wittenbergs are here.
All right, now we can get
Yes,
started.
Hashem.
We have a special guest this evening. We have Rabbi Chaim Markovitz, who is my colleague, my friend, and he is the founder and director of Chabad of rural Georgia. And those aren't just words. He is literally right now 4 hours southeast of Atlanta area in Brunswick. Am I correct? Are you in Brunswick, Georgia now?
Very close. I'm in Statesboro right now.
I know it well.
You know it well, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
That's
so
crazy.
Rabbi
4 hours
Markovitz,
southeast me.
Rabbi Markovitz, anything you'd like to share with this group? I don't think you know everybody here.
Yeah, absolutely. So hello everybody. It's nice to meet you. I do know some of these names, but I have not met many of you, that is for sure. So hello Bev, and
You've
hello
met me.
Wittenberg. And I've met Sheila. Hello Carol, and hello Ellen. Ellen, you're Rabbi Hamburger's brother, right?
No, I'm
Sister.
the brother. She's the sister.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, it's
This
nice.
is
Nice.
not, this is not California. We're Georgia, not California.
Nice to see
yeah,
you,
but you guys
Rabbi.
are from California. Yeah, it's
Yes,
a
we
pleasure.
are.
It's so
A
lovely.
long time ago
Okay.
now.
There you go. So congratulations on that escape.
Thank you.
Hello, Kim. It's nice to meet you too. And Lori and Norm and Mrs. Norm. And is it your wedding anniversary?
No,
Birthday.
it's Norm's birthday.
Norm's birthday. Oh my gosh, Norm, happy birthday. It's nice to
Thank
see
you very
you.
much,
It's been a
Rabbi.
long
Mark.
time since I was.
It's only secular. The 8th of Av.
It's only secular.
Can't
The
have
8th
a
of
party
Av.
on the 8th of Av.
Okay,
No.
well, the 8th of Av this year is on Shabbos, so you can definitely have a party.
Okay.
Oh, very good. Very good.
And there you go. So you can make a big party. And hello, Robin.
Hey,
I know
Rabbi.
you. I know you well. Good to
Yes,
see you. And
thank
Sheila.
you. Likewise.
Sheila, I don't see Tony.
Chaim, let me introduce you to Walter.
Tony's fine, thank you. He's downstairs.
Okay. Lovely. All right.
Having
Tony-
dessert, probably. Chaim, meet Walter. Walter, this is my
Hello,
colleague, Chaim.
Look like that. Welcome, Rabbi. It's nice to see you.
Walter lives
Thank you.
in Albany or Albany for you Northerners.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know Albany. I know it quite well.
Is that right?
I know
Well,
it quite
great.
well.
Great.
I'm in Albany at least once a month.
Oh, is that right? The fact that
Yeah.
well, you should get my contact. There's always a cup of coffee somewhere. The fact that
Excellent.
if you need one.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, I'll be there.
Good.
I'm pretty sure that's the day. Okay, so
Good.
together with Rabbi Hamburger, we will arrange something.
Terrific.
My friends, this is for me, this is the greatest honor to be able to participate just for a couple minutes with you guys in this Zoom and in this class. I can't praise Rabbi Hamburger enough. He's taken a level of leadership that is just unbelievable, and he's blossomed into a fantastic teacher. And you see, he has a major crowd over here and lots of fans. And Rabbi Hamburger, I am your fan. Amongst everybody else on this group, and every one of us are waving a flag of we are proud of you, and we are honored to be your students.
Thank you.
Amen.
That said, I want to give you guys a blessing. You're all lucky to participate in studying the Torah, and the Torah is it's God's gift to us. And God, gave us the Torah at Mount Sinai, and He instructs us to study it and to hold it dear and to hold it close. And that's exactly what you guys are doing by getting onto this Zoom 7:30 every Wednesday. That's a big deal, right? That's a big deal that you guys give of your time. And I want to bless you that God will reciprocate your dedication. He'll give it back to you in the form of all the blessings that your hearts desire in your families and in your personal lives, with health and with peace and with how else do we say this? With menushat nefesh, which means like a
peaceful soul.
It's a little more than peace. Peaceful soul. There you go. So that is my blessing. Hello, Brian. It's good to see you too. So I encourage you all, and I support you all. And if I get a chance to meet you all and I don't recognize you, please just tell me where we met, because I'm blessed to remember some of the people I meet. And typically, what should I do? Okay, anyway, here's the main thing. I want to bless you all. I blessed you all, and I'm going to let you go. And I'm going to continue on because I'm in Statesboro and I still have to drive all the way to Brunswick tonight. But let me tell you, you know what? Let me tell you this. I just walked into somebody's house. He hasn't engaged with anything Jewish since his bar mitzvah. And the fellow's got to be in his 60s now. So how many years are we talking? 60 minus 13? That's like 40-something years. And I had the pleasure of engaging with him, and we wrapped tefillin, and we even put up a mezuzah on his door. And the impact that we have, each of us in our way, needs to be, what's the word? Infectious. I wonder if there's a positive way to say infectious. We are all lamplighters, passing on the good energy to the next person. So you guys are studying the Torah here. Find someone to share it with, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your children or your parents or your friends or your cousins or your enemies. It doesn't matter who it is. Just take something from the class and pass it on. And like that, you'll be like Rabbi Hamburger. You'll be a teacher of the Torah too. And all of our collective teaching passes the baton on and spreads the light forward. Okay, my best wishes to all of you. Sei gesund. Have a good night and study well. And and thank you, Rabbi Hamburger, for giving me this opportunity to meet your students.
Thank you, Rabbi Markovich. Have a successful trip.
Drive safely.
You're welcome.
Yes, be safe driving. Yeah.
That's my commitment, is to drive safely, or at least not to tell anyone else what I did.
All right, everybody.
Okay, fine. All right, sei gesund.
All right, so let's begin to see if we have any leftover themes from last week, any comments, any criticisms, anything at all that you'd like to discuss.
We have an apology for missing the class last week. I don't know what took us over, but we missed, and I'm sorry.
It's never too late. There's always another chance, and this week is that chance. Yeah. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to comment on? All right, so let's begin. Oh, those of you who have not met my sister, Ellen, wave at everybody, Ellen, so they know who you are. My sister just came back from 2 weeks in Spain and Italy with her family,
nice.
Children and grandchildren. And she is back joining us, and hopefully you won't fall asleep with the jet lag.
Yeah. Nice to meet you all.
So, welcome to class 3. Does everybody have that orange piece of paper called the Tree of Life somewhere accessible?
Yes.
We're going to do a brief review. Tonight we're talking about joy and the source of joy. But first, let me say, joy and sadness are usually viewed as spontaneous emotional reactions to events around us. So when people experience emotional malaise, they often conclude that they're unhappy because of life circumstances that are beyond their control. In other words, happiness or the opposite of happiness are the result of something that they have no control over. So they give up their power and they feel like victims. And today, what we're going to discover is what we're going to reveal is the thinking person's proactive guide to happiness, so that it doesn't seem arbitrary, so that circumstances do not throw you off. We'll discover that joy is a state of being that can induce by virtue of our thoughts and our attitudes. The source of joy comes from the soul power known as Bina in Hebrew, or understanding as we call it in English. If you look at the tree of life, you'll see it's on the same horizontal line as wisdom. Wisdom is on the right, understanding is on the left. So we're going to be focusing later on this evening on understanding, or Bina. But first, let's review what we've covered until now. And I just want to emphasize that it's important that if anybody loses what we're talking about or is confused on any level, please stop me and let's go over whatever your question or source of confusion is, because we're going to be using each lesson as a building block. So please don't be bashful. Please ask questions. So when we began 3 weeks ago, we talked about the 10 soul powers, or in Hebrew, the 10 sfirot. And these are basic elements of God's creative powers and the means by which he makes himself known to the world and to man. So when God was prior to creating the universe, and again, the language is clumsy because you really can't say prior about God, because God is the source of time and space. So how could something be prior? But since language is necessarily clumsy, I'm using the word prior. Prior to creating the universe, there was only God. He chose 10 attributes to create the world with, to create the universe with in the macro, and to create us with in the micro. So this tree of life orange document that you see is the literal blueprint that God used to create you. So because humans are created in God's image, the powers of the human soul are an extension or a manifestation of God's powers. And for us to have a healthy personality, we have to keep these soul powers in balance. Just like we have to get our car tuned up, we have to tune up ourselves, because we are subject to getting grime or dirt or dust on our soul powers, to put it nicely. And as a result, we don't necessarily function well all the time. So that's really the purpose of this class, is to fine tune these 10 powers within ourselves. The first power that we spoke about on night one was called crown. If you look at the tree of life illustration, you'll see crown, or keter in Hebrew, and you'll see that it is above the figure's head. Because number one, it's not really one of the soul powers, but it is the all-inclusive, it is the all-encompassing power that is the source of all desire, the source of all will. It was from this place that God desired, or he decided to have a desire to create the universe. So in the macro, that's what desire is. But in human terms, we can say that the crown refers to our life's purpose. And that life's purpose, which we're trying, if you have not discovered, which most people have not, most of us have not, by discovering our life's purpose, ideally, that's what directs all the other decisions that we make in order to achieve what our goal is, what our purpose is in the world.
So,
yeah,
can I ask you a question?
please, Sheila.
Is there an example of anybody who has found life's purpose?
Yeah, I'm looking at her right now. You found life's purpose. Well, I know one of your life's purposes, and that is to use your profession to bring a lot of happiness to people, to make their lives better by packaging things for them in such a way that they take beautiful cruises and excursions. That's one manifestation of Sheila.
Oh, okay. Thank
So
you.
I'm not talking about necessarily big, grandiose things. I'm talking about the basics for all of us. But it manifests differently. If you remember, I told you the story about the wealthy businessman who lost all of his money. He went to see his Rebbe and explained to his Rebbe, his spiritual advisor, all the things that he needed as a result of having lost all his money. And the Rebbe said to him pointedly, "You did a very good job of explaining everything you need, but you haven't told me what you're needed for." So the needed for is really the purpose of this discussion. It's what we all need to get in touch with. What are you needed for? And that becomes the raison d'etre. And I refer back to that famous speech in the 1960s by John Kennedy when he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." That's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. Maybe for some people that is grandiose. Maybe for some people that affects the entire universe. For others of us, we have our own, what we call Dalit Amot. We have our own personal space of people that we come in contact with. It's the people we interface with at the gas station, at the grocery store, in the community, in church, in synagogue, wherever you are. It's those interactions where we bring ourselves to the table, our authenticity to the table. And that's what I mean by our purpose in life. So basically, we can identify our purpose in life generally by assessing what it is we're needed for. That's how we know what our purpose in life is. So that is in the grand scheme. That's called Keter or crown. But in a more personal way, below crown on the tree of life illustration, we have something called knowledge or da'at in Hebrew. If you remember, I told you that in the book of Genesis, thank you, Kim. In the book of Genesis, we say that Adam knew Eve, which, as you know, is a euphemism for an intimate union between the two of them. And the word used to describe that union is da'at, or knowledge, the middle sphera, the middle power known as knowledge, because Adam and Eve knew each other in an intimate way. So again, looking at this map, underneath the crown, the first three powers you see on the right is wisdom, on the left is understanding, and in the middle is knowledge. These are our three intellectual faculties. All these faculties together create a fully functioning, spiritually evolved human being. Below that, you'll count 7 other soul powers, and those are emotional or emotive and behavioral in nature. So tonight we're going to be discussing the counterpart of wisdom, which is understanding. In other words, wisdom, as we discussed last week, well, we'll cover that in a moment. So you can take off the map now, Kim, if you don't mind. So Da'at refers to the internalization of purpose through translation into concrete plans and goals. So Da'at is taking that flash that we get in Chochmah. Chochmah or wisdom refers to that flash of wisdom, that germinal flash, that undeveloped flash that we discussed last week. It's the seed of a full-blown thought. It's unlimited potential. And it vacillates between being and non-being. That's what we talked about last week. This week is taking that stuff, that flash, and grounding it and bringing it down and organizing it into something real that we can work with. Any questions on this? This is review, but it's always good to review because it's really hard to grasp. So within us, within the individual, the attribute of Chachma, the attribute of wisdom, the flash of wisdom, it really describes the latent potential that's contained within you because you have a divine soul. And as we described last week, the experience of trying to figure out a problem and not being able to, and it's only when you surrender and say, I give up, that's when it comes. And we ask the question, where does it come from? It comes from the soul. And the mind opens to the soul. And in the soul is a reservoir of everything, all wisdom. Everything that you need to know is in your soul. But you can't get access to your soul without breaking your flash of wisdom, without giving up, without surrendering, without breaking your ego. So the process is humility. Through humility, one is able to access their soul. So when we appreciate the holy spark of God within us, we're literally imbued with an immutable sense of self-esteem. Because self-esteem is based on an unchanging essential worthiness. It's not contingent upon what we do. So many people are suffering from low self-esteem, and they've got it all wrong. It's nothing external. It's nothing that can be validated by action. It's by acknowledging and internalizing the fact that we are all a piece of God, literally. That we are all created in the divine image, and that needs to be what gives us our self-worth. So, Chochmah, the flash of wisdom, provides the motivation, the initial spark for everything that follows. If we don't feel sufficient motivation, we can arouse it through actions, through conscious cultivation of joy. And that's what we're discussing this evening, is joy. So let's begin the discussion for this evening about the soul power of Bina, understanding, which is related to joy. Any questions before we jump in?
Okay, so you said Bina is understanding and Chachma is wisdom.
Well, that's the way the words are translated, but in reality, the working definition is wisdom. We could call the flash of wisdom.
Okay.
The word in Hebrew, Chochmah, which is wisdom, is literally a contraction of two words. The first word is koach, which means power. The second word is ma, which means what. It's the power of what.
Yeah.
It's something that's so ethereal, you don't know what it is. When you have one of those aha moments and somebody says to you, what is it? What happened? What are you thinking about? You can't articulate it because it's not articulatable. Which brings us to understanding, or Bina. Understanding is making it real. The metaphor that I used last week was the creation of a child. We say that wisdom is masculine, understanding is feminine. From the masculine, from the male, comes the sperm, which is a flash, literally. The mother internalizes that and works with it through gestation, through 9 months of pregnancy, and turns it into something. That's the process. That's why we say that wisdom is masculine and understanding is feminine. That's not exclusive. It doesn't mean that we don't have all these capacities within us, just that the Kabbalah identifies these things as masculine energy, feminine. So the takeaway for you, masculine is the aha, and feminine is bringing it down, making it real, organizing it, making it practical, implementing it, bite-sized pieces. That's Bina.
I just decided that Chachma is wow, Bina was whoa.
Devorah Tova, that's beautiful. Thank you. In personal terms, Bina is the source of our attitudes. There are mental states that can be changed by changing our perspective of things. We can frame things in a positive way or the opposite of a positive way.
Need to hear this.
So Bina is actually the mother of all the emotions. All your emotions, all my emotions come from Bina. Again, it's a feminine energy and it gives birth to all emotions. And the most important emotion that it gives birth to is joy, is happiness. So tonight's going to be about several strategies that we can employ to make our lives more joyful. And if you're already joyful and you can't even tolerate being more joyful, then share it with somebody else. But we literally want to banish melancholy, even under adverse circumstances. I'm not saying that it's not okay to be depressed, but there's very little profit in it. There's very little profit in depression. As a brief aside, in Hasidus, there's two different words for melancholy. Melancholy, by the way, in Hebrew is called marash chora, which is literally the black bile. Where's the bile? The liver or the gallbladder, right? So the marash chora.
Bile is in the liver.
It's the black bile. It's the source of melancholy. And if you were to point in the body, where does it come from? It's there in the gallbladder. So if you don't have a gallbladder, I guess you'd be happy all the time. I don't know. But
I think if you don't have a gallbladder, you are happier than you were before.
well said. So in Chassidut, in Chassidic wisdom, you have two different types of depression. One is called atzvut, which means sadness, and the other is called mererut, which is mererut is bitterness. Atzvut, sadness, is low energy. It's pulling the covers over your head. Mererut is, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. What was that movie? I'm not going to take it anymore. You yell that out the window. That's mererut. It's energized. It's a righteous, self-righteous, not self-righteous, righteous indignation. So depression that turns to mererut, that bitterness, is a very positive thing, because it gets you to move from point A to point B. But the first type, the sadness, the wallowing, is unfortunately there's no profit from it whatsoever. Questions? So, as I said, Bina, understanding, is intellectual comprehension, it's analysis, it's expansion. The word itself, Bina, interestingly enough, comes from the infinitive, comes from the verb in Hebrew, livnot. Livnot literally means to build. To build. In our case, to build upon the flash of intelligence, that's the Chokhmah. So the process is like this. We have an infinite reservoir of wisdom deep within our soul's essence. The soul opens up and allows the mind to glimpse some of that wisdom in a flash. Remember the metaphor we used last week, that you're lost in the forest and you can't remember where your cabin is and it's pitch black, and then a flash of lightning in the sky, all of a sudden you see the cabin in the distance. You know how to get there. Flash. It's a flash of wisdom. That's Chokhmah. But the soul literally opens and allows the mind, it invites the mind in to grasp that wisdom. But then the mind has to take that in the form of building, in the form of Bina. It has to understand it, it has to disseminate it, it has to expand on the flash that it saw. Good? Are we good?
Yeah.
So, again, Chokhmah is the unlimited, undefined potential. Bina adds the structure, it adds the definition so you can understand it. Chokhmah, the flash of wisdom, is objective. Bina, livnot, the building, the organizing, the feminine energy, is more subjective. It filters the intelligence the way you understand it. So you and I could each have the same flash, but you and I are going to interpret that flash differently. It's like pouring clear water into different color glasses. So whereas Chochmah is pure, it's objective, Bina is where definition, where differentiation occur. When wisdom is colored by the mind. When wisdom is colored by the mind, that's subjective. So all that distinction, all that differentiation occurs in the second intellectual faculty known as understanding. Sorry for beating on the same subject. I just want to make sure we have it before we move on.
Is this the sort of thing that psychoanalysts work on with people that maybe have some sort of mental disorder?
I'm not qualified to say. I'm curious what Kim has to say.
Sure. Well, I think that, and I teach a lot about the brain. And so it makes me think in this space, I mean, there's so much more, right? But in a simplified way, I think of, the frontal lobes, which to me is like Bina, the organization, the structure, the making sensory of the analyzing, synthesizing, order of operations, right? The frontal, and then midbrain, where the emotions lie, to me sounds more like Chochmah, the expansiveness, the openness. And when we talk about in therapy, once about learning about just some basic dynamics about the brain, how to exercise what to me would seem more like, if I'm saying it right, Chochmah. I got hung up on spelling, and so my notes got, Chochmah, I'm saying, and is the unknown, the ability to not necessarily know, letting go, the infinite, whatever that is for an individual, source, God. So I hope I'm just kind of answering that a little bit. And I work a lot expressively with kind of not figuring out and landing on something, but where both can come together, what we call integration of the two. So that reminds me in this, looking at the tree of life in the orange diagram, conceptually a little bit, this helps too, to organize that, which is the greater, the beyond, source, more on the crown, like how then we still need to have all these other pieces to,
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to jump in? So, attitude. Attitudes affect not only the way we think, but they affect how we feel and how we act. I know this sounds cliche, but a positive attitude helps you feel better.
Yeah.
Helps you act more enthusiastically.
Yeah.
Let's look at text 2 on page 63. I'll read it. It's short. Thomas Jefferson says nothing can stop the man with a right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with a wrong mental attitude.
Because it's all a choice.
Sorry?
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Choice,
Attitude
yes.
is all a choice.
For sure. William James, I think he was a psychiatrist, actually. I'm not sure. Human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. As you think, so shall you be. So not only does a positive attitude enhance inner peace and personal growth, it has a very physical, tangible effect as well. I'd like to share something from the Rebbe with you, who said, this is text 4, page 63, a person once implored that Tzemach Tzedek was the third Chabad rabbi who lived in the early 1800s. So a person came to him to arouse mercy on high for someone who was dangerously ill. Somebody came to this rabbi because someone in their family was dangerously ill. The Rebbe replied, Trach good v'sein good. Think positively and things will turn out to be positive. Now, this is not just simple positive attitude stuff. We understand from his words, this is the Rebbe speaking now, we understand from his words that the positive thoughts themselves bring about tangible positive results. In other words, this is more than just have a positive attitude. This is the actual thoughts, feelings, speech about one's positivity affect heaven. We have a relationship upstairs. What we do down here in the physical world affects the spiritual world. God, as he manifests in creation as the creator, does things usually through nature. Measure for measure. You do this, you're going to get this as a consequence, cause and effect. But what we're saying here is you can break the system. You don't have to settle for that kind of natural order of things. Through happiness specifically, when God sees that an individual is happy, especially when he's got good reason to be somewhat forlorn, I'm telling you, he looks around, he sees the angels are doing somersaults. When he sees us happy, it makes him happy. We have an effect on God. Hard concept. It sounds, I know, it sounds like Grimm's fairy tales. It sounds absurd. But we're not boxed in to cause and effect. We see case after case where God will change the outcome in a favorable way. Thankfully, he does not change the outcome in an unfavorable way. He does not judge us harshly so that whatever it is we're subjected to, he's going to make worse by us drawing attention to it. When we trust him, he just wants to give us more. Crazy, huh? So just to recap where we're at so far, Keter, the crown on top, means you need to set goals. Then, next step, you need to recognize that you have the power to actually accomplish those goals based on your infinite potential. That's your chachma, that's your wisdom. That's the soul opening up and let the wisdom come in and draw out what it needs. And then to have the positive can-do attitude. That's what we're talking about tonight. That's the bina. That's the building it. That's the organizing it. 3 steps and you're unstoppable. Kavish? That's Hebrew for do you understand?
Oh, yeah. You know, Mace, is it okay to interrupt?
Please.
I think, in the psychology realm too, what some people call CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, in this triangle of, your thoughts affect your feelings, feelings affect your behavior, attitude in there, and whichever way too. So if I'm, down, I have my hoodie on, and I'm just sitting there, just kind of feeling bad or whatever it is. All the things so the behavior that we have then creates the thought, or the thought happens and then it creates that behavior of me, sheltering everybody out. Sometimes I'll use this with teens. And then what is seen as like, they're looking at me, or are they looking at the clock above you? So breaking down some of those, cognitive thoughts and ways in which working with how it affects essentially what you're saying is mood and the way we go about the world. And then on that same note, like I think of other places where the power of, yes, positive thought, what we say or what we put out there has a reverberation. And so, the things that have, grandly shifted and changed because of that. And some of my people have a hard time being happy or feeling happy because it feels selfish or certain, I don't know if it's certain faith or certain way, like, don't be too happy, be so staying with the humility side, because so I had somebody who really performed really well as an actor and made their first, and it was like very, and I don't mean it bad, but like Russian, like certain, like, don't be too happy. Don't be too excited about yourself or have too much. And it's hard for them to wrestle with, well, what is that too much? But not only that person, I've heard too others, like, I don't want to be happy when there's sorrow in the world or feel good about this because, yeah. So I guess maybe that leads into a question is how to balance that in the space of God loves to see us happy. And then how.
There's no balance when it comes to happiness. The more, the merrier, period.
I guess it's the guiltiness factor for some.
I was raised with the family had come through the Depression and then the war. And that I realize now you couldn't be too happy because something would happen.
Oh, yeah.
We were always waiting for the other shoe to fall.
Yeah.
I'm 85 and I'm still waiting for the shoe. But thank God I was able to learn along the way that my right to be here for a purpose. God doesn't have accidents or make mistakes. And then I can choose a lot of things. It also helped. I worked at Atlanta Insight. It was outpatient addiction place. I was a secretary there. And they had so many good one-liners. How important is it? And, when you resent someone, they're living rent-free in your brain. And I thank God, was able to internalize a lot of that stuff because it's all true.
Very good, Dora Tova. Very good. Here's what I want to emphasize. You can't be too happy. And happiness is a place where we should be holding all the time. It doesn't mean that you're wrong if you're not holding there. But in every synagogue above the ark where the Torahs are kept, what does it say? I'll translate it in English. Serve God with joy. Every synagogue has that written. That's how important it is. Now, there's lots of disciplines in life, there's lots of experience in life that says otherwise. And all I'm telling you is that is what the Torah says. The difference between the Torah and other things, I'm going to reel back that statement. I'm going to say that there's truth in many different disciplines. Kim is here applying what she knows, which is a lot, in the realm of psychotherapy and therapy in general, and she's finding things that resonate based on the Torah. The source of everything that's true in the world is the Torah. It predates everything also. Anyway, this is not an advertisement for the Torah. Here's what I want you to do with what we learned so far. Number one, if you haven't done it already, really pay some attention this week. What are your most important goals for real? This is nothing you're going to share, or you don't have to share, but give it some serious consideration. What are your most important goals? Now, what attitudes are preventing you from achieving those goals? Identify whatever is holding you back. And then number three, what attitudes do you need to acquire in order to manifest those goals? Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah, the fact that
Walter,
I'd like just a matter of sidebar comment. Frank and Ernest cartoon had an interesting submission one time. The fact that Frank says to Ernest, he said, "I've been looking for the meaning of life, but I bumped into reality." The fact that, which sort of correlates a little bit in my weird thinking about this, having too much happiness has never been a problem in my life, along with most people I know. This idea of translating one's attitude and mood, and I firmly believe and can identify with the concept of what you think is what you are. In our Christian Bible, we have a section in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8 that says, whatever things are wonderful, whatever things are true, whatever things are good, if there's any praise, if there's any glory, think on these things. Basically the same thing of what you're talking about. You know, as you said, truth is truth no matter where it comes from, you know, and I believe the fact that that's true. But changing one's attitude, thinking on good things, not giving way to things that make no difference is a lot of work. In my experience, it takes a great deal of decisiveness, discipline, and effort in order to change one's attitude from melancholy or depression to an attitude of joy and happiness. It doesn't come natural to me. The fact that I think with reading your material, the study of the Torah, the contemplation of the scriptures, the thinking of good things, the eagerness to think about the things that you are thankful for. All of those things are mechanisms that seem to go from the melancholy and depressions to the act of joy and the blessings of joy. In my experience, it's tough living.
Mhm.
I don't know whether that raises a question. It's just my feedback on what I hear, and I'm grasping everything you say. But as Frank and Ernest, the fact that the theoretical concept of living a life of joy and this idea of understanding and that sort of thing to the reality of actually experiencing that is not only difficult, but some people find it without some type of outside intervention, the fact that it's almost an impossible thing to grasp. So we, as people, we have bridged that gap between some people's impossibility to grasp it to their realization of understanding that. And I think we do that through compassion, love, understanding, and humility, okay? Giving of ourselves to other people. So the fact that they can make the journey from one place to another. So that's my take.
You have
Maybe-
all my respect. I am so grateful to you for bringing up the point you just brought up. It's so honest and vulnerable and helpful for me, and I'm sure it is for others as well. So thank you for that. It's also a perfect segue to enter really the most important aspect of what we're going to be discussing, and that is Bina, this understanding, this knowledge, and joy. The Kabbalah teaches that Bina is associated with joy. Bina is the first moment that the mind rejoices in the intelligence. The flash of wisdom, the Chachma, is something way up there. It's infinite, it's undefined, it's unrealized. There's no joy in the intellect, in that flash of wisdom. There's no joy. You have no idea what it is. It's when you understand what it is that your wisdom grasped from the reservoir in your soul, when your feminine energy, when your understanding begins to take that flash of wisdom and bring it down, that's when you begin to rejoice. That's where joy is possible. But it's much deeper than that. How do we define joy? Typically, as a result of some kind of external circumstance. My spouse, my job, my children, my car, my vacation, all of these things bring me joy. The Torah tells us, Kabbalah tells us, yeah, it's great. I mean, we all want those things, but true joy is not responsive, it's not circumstantial. Rather, it's a certain set of attitudes. Inner joy. Let's look at page 65. Text 6. Did we discuss Viktor Frankl in the last couple of weeks? We all know who he is.
Yes.
This quote is from Viktor Frankl. If anybody walked the talk, it was Viktor Frankl. He says in Man's Search for Meaning, and if you haven't bought the book, go on Amazon, buy the book, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. He says, happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. Ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself.
Sure, I can.
To balance Viktor Frankl, let me go to Hugh Downs. Does everybody remember Hugh Downs?
Yeah.
Text 7, page 65. A joyful person is not a person in a certain set of circumstances, but rather a person with a certain set of attitudes. And finally, from the magnum opus of Hasidus, written by Shneur Zalman of Liadi, the Alter Rebbe, the most foundational book in Hasidus, in chapter 26, he starts out with the following parable. This is text 8, page 65. Listen carefully. Truly, this should be made known as a cardinal principle that as with victory over a physical obstacle, such as in the case of two individuals who are wrestling each other, each striving to throw the other, if one is lazy and sluggish, he will easily be defeated and thrown, even if he is stronger than the other. Exactly so is it in the conquest of one's negative tendencies. It's impossible to conquer them with laziness and heaviness, which originate in sadness and in a heart that is dulled, like a stone, but rather with alacrity that derives from joy, from a heart that is free and cleansed from any trace of worry and sadness in the world. Put that in your pipe.
No, I was fixing to say that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
The fact that.
So we still don't. I'm sorry. Go on, Walters. Finish.
Two comments, and I apologize for interrupting.
Don't apologize.
The first comment is that of giving oneself to a cause greater than oneself. That is monumental in what it means. But it's not just any cause that this ensues from, but a cause according to God's glory and God's will. It's a righteous cause, that if one gives oneself to that righteous cause. And I just quote for you Psalm 97. It says, light is sown for the righteous and gladness for the upright in heart. And I think somewhere within your text, you mentioned this idea of uprightness of heart. It's being integral within this principle of happiness and joy. You know, one that is not upright in their heart is not going to express joy and happiness or find it. You know, and I think this idea about a pure heart is important in this process.
Excellent.
Hey, Rabbi Jonathan?
Yes, Carlos.
All right, so looking at this text 8, this last part where it says, a heart that is free and cleansed from any trace of worry and sadness in the world. I've struggled with that part, and I attribute it to text 6, where it says, as the byproduct of one surrender to a person other than oneself. Many times in my life, even though I have seen miracle after miracle and God has been with me every step of the way, I have not trusted God when things have gone awry. when there's been criticism or something's gone wrong. And then I have fallen into despair and worry and sadness. The wife here will attest to that. I struggled with, depression when I was a young guy and even married. I would just make a mountain out of a molehill. And it's just been recent that I tied these two together, that I've lacked that trust in God sometimes, especially when things go wrong.
Thank you for sharing that, Carlos. It's a work in progress for all of us. Nobody gets to a certain destination. I just quoted you something. I said the 26th chapter. It's actually the 28th chapter of Tanya. Your text number 8. That means that there were 27 chapters before that 28th chapter that I just read. And there's a total of 52 chapters. 51 chapters, excuse me. Anyway, it isn't as though reading that book, and it needs to be learned. I'm not saying it doesn't. But ultimately, it's the application. Ultimately, it's self-acceptance and realizing that we are all a work in progress. And also keeping in mind, I'm telling you, I have this on good authority. You can believe me. God grades on a curve. So everyone's doing great. The fact that you show up, that you suit up, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, humanist, whatever you are, you're in pursuit. And it's true that we all have certain dispositions. Some of us have naturally happy dispositions. Some of us have the opposite. Some of us come from families where we have a healthy dose of good reasons to be depressed. There's no question. But don't forget, there were 3 people in a partnership. It was the Father, the Mother, and God that put you in that situation. So it's obviously something your soul needs to work through that thing. We all have things that we struggle with. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be so heavy all the time.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Interject. You started me on this, and the fact that I'm getting so excited about all this. May I offer Carlos a part of your scripture, Psalm 42? The fact when he mentioned the difficulty that he had at difficult times of trusting God and that sort of thing. Psalms 42 just absolutely just blows the top off of his situation and the deep meaning behind that and that sort of thing. So I commend to you the fact that that's scripture and the fact that perhaps it will mean something to you.
I love that, Walter. Look at that. We're all helping each other. This is great. This is a great call. Thank you. Listen, my friends. True joy is not the result of accomplishment. True joy is what makes it possible to accomplish things. Most people have that backwards. On the other hand, sadness prevents us from accomplishing. The Karliner Rebbe, Rebbe Aaron of Karlin, in the mid-1800s said, sin is not a sin per se. If you look at the list of sins, you're not going to find, I'm sorry, let me not interpret. Let me just read to you what he said. Sin is not a sin per se, but the damage it causes, I'm sorry, I wrote these notes incorrectly. He said, depression is not a sin per se. Depression is not a sin per se, but the damage that depression causes, no sin could cause.
Say that again.
Yeah, will you repeat that, please?
Depression is not a sin. The damage that it causes, no sin could ever cause. You know the way all of us, and you've seen this cliche in movies and other places with the angel and the devil on the shoulder, you know, each whispering into the air. The little devil guy In Hebrew, we call it the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. It doesn't really care so much if you sin. What it really cares about is how you feel a second after you sin. It wants you depressed. That's where it can have its way with you. Okay, yeah, look, I'm not an expert on Christianity. I don't even know how much of an expert I am in Judaism, but I know all the workarounds in Judaism, and whatever you do wrong, there's a way to get back in his good graces. I'm assuming that's probably true in Christianity also, with sincere repentance or whatever the formula is. All I'm saying, the sin is not the point. It's how you feel the second after the sin. And it's a setup. That little devil on the shoulder, it's a setup. Nothing can stand in the way of a person who has a happy attitude, who has a shining countenance. We say in Yiddish, Simcha poretz geder. Happiness breaks all boundaries. It smashes all locked doors. Let's look at text 9 on page 66. Again, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi says that simcha, or joy, nullifies all internal and external obstacles and impediments, causing them to be repelled of themselves, just as darkness is removed of light. You understand? That's how powerful happiness is. We're also told by the Rebbe in the 100th Psalm, we're told to serve God with joy. The nature of joy is to break through barriers, that is to say, the limitations and the restrictions of the soul. There are two ways in which this occurs. By the way, this is on page 66, text 10, so make a note to look at this. There's two ways. Number one, when joy smashes the restrictions that are inculcated by habit, even though these limitations are now deeply ingrained in one's nature, because habit becomes second nature. And the second way is when joy has the power to break through even those limitations that are innate to a person by virtue of his birth. Joy can even transform them completely from one extreme to the other. What do you say about that? Okay, so how do we cultivate joy? I'm going to give you 4 strategies. I'm not giving you anything. I'm telling you what the Kabbalah says. 1, put and keep things in perspective. One of the characteristics of this quality called Bina, of this feminine energy of organizing and bringing down and conceptualizing wisdom, one of the characteristics is recognizing how one piece of information fits with another piece of information within a bigger picture. It sees the bigger picture in context. Our discontent is sometimes due not to putting our issues in the proper context.
That's what I told my wife last night.
Before or after she hit you with a frying pan?
That's right. Keep things in perspective, the fact that we're working on it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Rabbi.
We blow things out of proportion. We delude ourselves, we diminish, or we embellish our virtues. We catastrophize our liabilities. A small failure becomes larger than life. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, right? Nobody can identify with. We're unable to distinguish the little things from the big things.
Rabbi Yonatan, you said people get discontent discontent is not, sorry to write that down. might have that wrong. It's like when people just, it's because of these things, they're not happy. They don't experience joy, and they just like what is almost incongruent, if you will, with
Right.
what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Text 11, page 67. Rabbi Yosef Yitzhak Schneerson. A superficial person is mistaken about himself and about his conceptual grasp. His confusion can take several forms. Sometimes he is on too much of a high. At other times, he is at too much of a low. We see that sometimes he magnifies a matter out of all proportion, and at other times, he minimizes it out of all proportion. In general, he is a person who exaggerates not because he is lying, but because he is deluded.
Mm.
What do you call this in psychology? Cognitive distortion, right?
Yeah. Well, all of these are right. Mountain, Mount, molehill, catastrophizing. Right. Yeah.
Our bina is distorted. In fact, my go-to guy, because he's the only real therapist that I'm familiar with, David Burns, in text 12, page 67, talks about this kind of all or nothing thinking. You see things in black and white categories. If your performance falls short of perfect, you see yourselves as a total failure. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's on page 67. But he talks about overgeneralization, mental filter, disqualifying the positive, magnification, catastrophizing or minimizing, personalization. Kimberly is yawning. She knows all this stuff.
Yeah, no. I'm just, yeah, no. And I like to call them too, the ants, keeping it simple. Like, and I had somebody, she was very sweet. So the ants, automatic negative thoughts that can come up, right? And how to counterbalance them, if you will. And so she said, I just sprinkle some cinnamon. And that was cute, like cinnamon for the ants to keep them at bay. And so that would be a reminder. Sometimes having this jar of cinnamon out for these ants, these negative thoughts or these distortions, if you will. So, yeah.
Nice. So I invite you, and since you're all busy journaling all the things I'm suggesting that you journal, why don't you also think about some of your own examples of your own cognitive distortions? Look at the list and see if any of them applies to you.
All of the above.
All right, second strategy. Force yourself to think positively. Bina looks at a piece of information and it seeks to understand it until its conclusion. Train yourself to envision a positive resolution to your challenge. The sign of a healthy person, the sign of a spiritual, I don't want to say normal. I don't know what normal is. Okay, I'll just stick with my first point. A healthy person has a challenge and he has a reasonable expectation that he's going to accomplish whatever it is. That's sort of the litmus test. Now, whatever's in front of him, he realizes, okay, this is in front of me. He's not necessarily one of these, the theme from Rocky is not playing in the background. It's not one of those guys. But he's like, okay, this is what I got to deal with. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. So you force yourself to think positively.
Is that what I would call, I call myself a glass half full person.
Sure, for sure. I would say you're more than half full. Sure.
Unfortunately, my brother is a glass half empty. And it's a real pain in the neck.
Interesting.
Because this is what we're questioning. How can you, I always try and find a solution and see the possibilities. He fantasizes about what he's going to be doing and none of it ever happens. because he's not being realistic.
Why don't you invite him to the class next week? You know, a lot of our Rebbeim, a lot of our rabbis were prolific in terms of correspondence. And we're blessed to have a lot of that correspondence published. A lot of the names are redacted to who they were writing to. I want to read you one such letter from the Friedlicher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, who wrote to someone as follows: "Be as joyful as you would be if the desired result had already been achieved. But what is the reason for this joy? Is it possible to delight in something that does not yet exist? One should conceive the matter being resolved, and then think about the ramifications of it being resolved. And finally, he should feel that it is already resolved, and think about how he will feel now that the solution has been found. If the matter in his mind's eye is a positive one, he will be delighted and joyful as if it had already taken place." So anybody who's got a little tsuris in their life, anyone who's got a problem or two in their life, if you're alive on this call, if you're actually alive on this call, you probably can find one or two problems in your life.
Just one or two.
Envision the resolution of that problem based on the letter I just read you. I'm happy you're writing that down, Lori. Third strategy, acting joyfully. Learn to put the cart before the horse. As they say in modern parlance, fake it till you make it. If you live like a joyous person, that's what you'll be. Your attitude will follow your actions. Habit becomes second nature. Got another rabbi to talk to you about. Let me read to you what he had to say from another letter. Our Rebbe, Menachem Mendel, the fourth Lubavitch Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Lubavitch. He advised somebody, always express yourself in a manner indicating joy, as if the heart were filled with happiness, even when you don't really feel that way at the time. By acting this way, one ends up that way. For man is affected by his deeds and actions to the point that ultimately these will become ingrained in his heart. As stated by Maimonides, how shall a man train himself in these positive dispositions so that they become ingrained? By frequent repetition of actions consistent with these dispositions. And these dispositions will become a fixed part of his soul. Those of you who are saying, well, isn't it disingenuous to fake it till you make it, to pretend you're happy when you're not? Absolutely not. And the reason not is because this is the way God intended you to be. So all you're doing is living up to your divine image. Brings up a story that isn't exactly on point, but there was an adherent of one of the Hasidic dynasties, one of the rabbis of the Hasidic dynasty, and every year he would come to him and visit, and he became more and more of a successful businessman, and he moved from this town of Liadi to Petersburg, to St. Petersburg, and where he was doing business. And while he was in St. Petersburg, instead of dressing the way a Jewish religious person would dress, he dressed in a modern suit, whatever was modern for that day and age in the 1800s. And when he would come back to visit his Rebbe, he would take off the business clothes and put on his Jewish clothes. Until finally he felt like such a hypocrite. He said, I can't do this anymore. He came to the Rebbe in his business clothes. And when the Rebbe asked him, what's with these clothes? He said, I'm tired of being a hypocrite because I really am this person in the business clothes, not in the Jewish garb. And the Rebbe said to him, I'm not saying you're a hypocrite. I don't think you are. But if you are a hypocrite, you're a hypocrite when you put on the business clothes, not when you put on the Jewish clothes. How does that relate to what I just said? I don't know. But the fourth, it's not fake it till you make it. There's no faking it. There's no hypocrisy here. Number 4, create a soothing and uplifting atmosphere. Kabbalah, believe it or not, teaches that music is the language of the soul. Music uplifts us. It revives the spirit. It brings joy. We have Shaul HaMelech, King Saul, in text 15. I'm not going to read it to you. Maimonides says in text 16 on page 71, when a person is depressed, he should alter his mood by listening to song and music or go for a stroll in the garden. Yeah.
Or just do something else that you really like doing.
There you go. Or you can do what I do when I open the drapes every morning. You know what I do? I sing Zippity Doo Dah. Try it. I'm telling you, try it. So
Talks about singing Zippity Doo Dah all the time.
who does?
My husband right here.
Oh, Norm, let me hear a stanza.
You know, take away the joy of Zippity Doo Dah to hear me sing it.
We'll never quite hear it again that way. Okay, my friends, sadness is an unfortunate reality. But it's even worse when we're sad about being sad. But what about those times when we can't remove the circumstances that cause the sadness? Now, all of a sudden, people are saying, oh, finally, he's like coming down to earth. There's 3 strategies to deal in that situation. Number 1, turn the sadness into action. With a good attitude, we can transform sadness into motivation. You know the story about Billy and Johnny in the room full of manure? I don't need to repeat this. I don't need to tell you the story. Does everybody know it? Okay, you don't know it? I'll do my best to keep it clean.
Oh, don't do that.
They open the door to the room and it's piled all the way to the ceiling with fertilizer. They put Johnny in and 15 seconds later, he's pounding on the door to get out. He says, it's terrible. It smells like you know what in there. They put Billy in. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. What's going on with Billy? They open the door looking for him. He comes out drenched. And you know what? He says, this is great. With all this manure, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere.
Funny.
So we have to view challenges as growth opportunities. That is the point. So the question to you is, what can you do about things that are of immediate concern to you? What can you do? Make a list. Use your feminine energy of Bina. What are all the different things that are worth exploring about how to get out or how to fix the situation that you're in? Number 2, focus on positive thoughts. Emotions are like trees, growing only when attached to their source, the mind. You divert the mind to happy thoughts, and guess what? What happens? Sadness disappears. I'll read you one more. Text 19, page 74. Anxiety, for example, is sometimes brought on by oneself. In turn, one is also free and able to refrain from it. The fact is that as soon as one stops thinking about it altogether, the feelings of anxiety will disappear of themselves. At the very least, the anxiety will become dormant and will no longer be sensed, and after a few days, it will be nullified altogether to the point of no longer arising in his mind, not even as an alien thought. Anxiety is nullified by withdrawing our thoughts from it. For all emotions are sustained by mulling over the thoughts that cause them. Stopping to think about them will therefore automatically remove the energy from the emotion. This will then prevent the emotion from being aroused, and it will simply cease to be. The principal way of withdrawing one's thinking from, for example, anxiety is by making sure to divert one's thought to and investing it in cheerful subjects, things that gladden the heart, setting daily periods to study with another person. I'm just paraphrasing what the Rebbe is saying here. A diversion of thought may also be affected by thinking significant and cheerful mundane matters. It doesn't always need to be holy stuff, just not depressive stuff, not anxiety-producing stuff. Finally, ready for this one? Help somebody else.
Yeah.
Your homework, should you decide to accept this mission in the coming week, make a special effort to help your spouse, your child, someone you work with, whoever it is, and pay attention to how it makes you feel and put it in your journal. I want to share two parables with you, which 40-something years ago, when I first heard them, had the most profound impact on me, as I hope they will on you. The first one, we learn of the name of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was a great rabbi who lived during the first century of the Common Era. He says a person should always accustom himself to say everything that God does is for the good, as actually happened once with Rabbi Akiva when he was on a journey. On the way, he came to a certain town in which he wished to lodge for the night, but they would not allow him to stay. Everything that God does is for the good, he declared, and settled down for the night in a field outside of the town. He had with him a rooster to wake him up early in the morning, a donkey, and a candle so that he could study all night. During the night, a wind rose and extinguished the candle. A cat devoured the rooster, and a lion killed his donkey. But Rabbi Akiva declared, whatever God does is for the good. Later that night, a band of mercenary soldiers plundered the town. Had his candle remained burning, he would have been seen by the soldiers. If the donkey would have brayed or the rooster crowed, the soldiers would have come and looted him too. So we say, whatever it is, gam ze l'tova, everything is for the best. Whatever it is, train yourself. Everything is for the best. When you pay $3 to get a nice starched white shirt from the dry cleaner, and you come home and have dinner, and all of a sudden you've got pasta sauce all over it. That never happened to me, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, gam zu l'tova, everything is for the best. Let me give you one more story. Why was he called Nachum ish Gamzu? Because whatever happened to him, he would always say, Gamzu l'tova. This too is for the good. Once the sages of Israel decided to send a gift to the emperor of Rome. They discussed who should go and decided upon a rabbi named Nachum. Since he was accustomed to miracles, this guy, the miracles were all around him all the time. So they figured they'll send him. They sent him with a chest filled with gems and pearls. He lodged in at an inn for the night, but the innkeeper emptied his chest of its precious cargo, filling it with dirt, unbeknownst to him. He arrived in Rome and presented the gift to the emperor. They opened it and they saw that it was full of dirt. The emperor was ready to kill the Jews, saying that they were mocking him. This is also for the good, declared Nahum. Elijah, the prophet, suddenly appeared in the guise of one of the emperor's advisors, saying, perhaps this is the same dust that Abraham, their patriarch, threw at the kings who had captured Lot. The dust turned into swords and gunpowder. There was a province in the Roman Empire that they had not been able to conquer. The emperor used some of the dirt in the manner suggested and conquered them. The emperor now filled Nahum's chest with gems and pearls and sent him home with great honor. When he came to the same inn, the owner asked Nahum why the emperor had shown him such honor. Nahum told the story, adding that the dirt had belonged to the owner of the inn. The owner of the inn then decided to follow Rabbi Nahum's lead. He took some of the same dirt to the emperor, but it remained dirt and he was put to death. All right, next week, learning to love ourselves and each other. We have now covered the three intellectual faculties, Chochmah, Bina, and Dat, the flash of wisdom, the understanding, and the internalization. Those three aspects of intellect, Chochmah, Bina, and Dat, spell an acronym known as Chabad. Chabad is the Hasidic movement that I attribute to whatever I have in my life. Now, next week, we begin with the emotional faculties, starting with love. All you need is love, love, love. Loving kindness is what we talk about next week in a way that you probably have not heard before. Questions, comments, cucumbers from anybody? Yes, Robin.
I have a question, and I don't mean it to be so far off a tangent, but there's many fiction Jewish books where this has occurred. So I'm asking you, in the Torah or Kabbalah, are there any stories of women sorceresses who have casted spells to get rid of the source of their depression or anger?
There are oblique references, but they are not in the codified Torah. They weren't included in the final version of Torah.
It's in another document.
You've heard of Lilith?
Okay.
Lilith or Lilith?
Yes, Lilith, definitely.
So she didn't make the cut.
Okay.
But if you research stuff like that, you'll find it, but nothing in the Torah per se.
Okay.
But you're scaring me a little bit. Please don't make a spell on me.
I would never accept it's all good. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm not gifted in that stuff.
I'm glad you asked that. That was pretty cool.
Who else?
Thank you. I feel insecure asking it to the group, but thank you. That makes me feel better.
You're very welcome. Who else? Anyone else? No? On topic, off topic, doesn't matter.
I'm just excited. Right. Thank you. Thank you. I see so
much.
Thank
you very much, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Be in touch if you like. I'm always happy to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you next Wednesday, same bat time, same bat chat.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Very
Excellent.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.